Yeah.
There's Dawn.
Good morning. Adam is coming. He's gonna, I think, show today how to create your own board if you don't have ink. We just got some ink today, or not today, a couple days ago. So we're pretty psyched to be able to print some things off again.
Okay. All right, so today we are going to play Railroad Ink. This is the game that we're playing. Normally, what you're going to do is you're going to have a little board like this. So if you go the link in the description of the video, I believe, you will find a little sheet like this. It's not going to be colorful and blue. It's going to just be black and white with, essentially, you're going to have 7 boxes by 7 boxes. And so all I did was grab some graph paper. And I would treat 2 of these as 1 box. And so, you'd go through there. And obviously, you can do this a lot, better. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you'd fill in all of those. And then what's here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. This is not going to be very pretty, but the point is not prettiness, it's functionality. So this is what you'll hopefully have basically, and then you're just going to go through and fill in these. Because again, you want 7 by 7 squares, I believe. I guess I should have counted this just in case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, 7 by 7. And here we go. And there we go. And this game is also on some of the tabletop simulators. In case anybody wanted to try it on there, that would give you the ability of seeing what the dice are and using the dice as well. But this is basically what you need to play the game. You just need a piece of graph paper or a piece of any kind of paper, split it up in 7 different boxes. And then the big important thing is that in the middle here, you're just going to have, we'll just have a symbol showing you the stations. So every other box, starting with the middle one, and then same with the sides. Yeah. So right here, right here, right here, right here, there, and around the corner. There we go. So basically see these as the stations that you need to connect to. So the goal of the game is basically to, as we're going to roll these dice, we're going to be drawing things in this game, and we're going to be trying to connect these different sections. So you have like some railroad sections and you have some road sections, and you're trying to connect them together. And so the other important thing to have here is that you're going to have, certain ones are railroads, certain ones are roads. Roads usually are just signified by a double line with little dots in the middle, and railroads are signified by, just a line with some checks on them. And so you can just go through. So it's going to start with a railroad at the top, and then it goes road, and then it goes every other all the way around the board. They should essentially just match up right on the other sides from each other. But basically, the point is that you have these roads kind of coming into your town. Yeah. Okay. So you have these coming into your town, just like it is on here. And again, if you can at least pull up the sheet, you can see what I'm trying to do here on the PDF. Even if you can't print it off, you would be able to more easily copy what I'm trying to do here. The other important thing is this very center region right here, right in the middle of these 9 squares. They're important for scoring. And so I would just, if you're going to do it here, I would just draw this line a little bit thicker so you know where it is. But otherwise, you're basically ready to go with this. The other thing is to be aware of is if you can pull up the PDF of it, there are these 6 symbols, and they are special symbols that you can use once in the game. You can use a total of 3 of them. You can use 1 every turn if you choose to, but they are special there, but you can only use them each particular symbol one time. And so if you have the print off sheets, you would see these and you would check them off as you use them. If you're making your own board, just as you use them, you could, make sure to draw an extra little drawing down on the side to represent that you use that particular one, so you don't use that one again. And this will make sense as we play, but that's basically it. This is all you need to play. You need a 7x7 box. You need where the railroads are, and where the roads are, and where the general stations are. And that's it. From here on out, I will go ahead and just teach the game, and hopefully you'll have what you need to be able to play. So I'll teach the game. You can make a nice, pretty artwork of what you need. If you did a good job on this, I just kind of threw this one together, so it's kind of not very nice looking. But if you did a good job, I would suggest you some dry erase markers and slip this into like a binder with a clear transparency sheet or something. So that way you can draw over and over and over, and you can erase it. Because we will most likely play this game and Welcome to and a few other of these roll and write games. We'll probably play them on and on and on. And this will give you a board to use without having to recreate a board every single time. Okay, so let me remove this. Like I said, today we are going to play Railroad Ink. In Railroad Ink, the goal of the game is to get as many points as possible. So at the very end of the game, you are going to get points listed. I'm not sure if this is in the little PDF. Hopefully it is. But you'll get points listed for a couple different things. And we're going to start with the first one. For every time you connect one section of road to another section, one of these like stations that I showed you at the very beginning, if you connect any of these red dots together using roads or railroads or stations, and we'll explain that in a little bit. If you have connected two of them together, you are going to get 4 points. Let me switch to a dry erase marker so that way I can show you. So if you have connected in some way, two of these together, this is not a very well, drawn out thing. But say you connected these together. At the end of the game, you would have connected two different stations, so you would get 4 points. That's how that works. Obviously, it's more advantageous the more stations you can get connected. If you can get all 12 stations connected to each other, that's going to be 45 points. But so usually people ask this question, so I'm going to answer it. These are additive. So if you've connected two stations right here, you're going to get 4 points. But if you somehow connected these three stations and these two stations, so you would get the 4 points for these two stations, and you would get the 8 points for connecting these ones. So you just add these together, so that would give you 12 points. If you went along and you connected two stations and two stations and two stations and two stations 6 times, you would get 6 times 4. So you get 24 points. So you are going to get more bang for your buck, if you will. You're going to get a lot more points if you can connect more of them together in one solid group. But if you can at least connect a couple of them into smaller groups, that's still going to get you points at the end of the game. That, I would say, is probably the main way to get points. The second way to get points the next way to get points is this symbol. It's a road. So your longest contiguous road that you have, that you can count out, that doesn't end. Ending would be like in this one where it goes a road to a railroad. Well, that road ended wherever you had ended it. So you would count up your longest stretch of road that doesn't end, and you would get that many points. So maybe your longest road was 9, so you get 9 points for that. Then the railroad is pretty self-explanatory. You are going to get the same amount of points. You're going to get it's going to go the same way. So you're going to get as many points as your longest railroad. And so you would mark that up. So maybe your longest railroad was 6. So you'd get 6 points for that. Now, this little box that I showed you right here, the center area that I told you to draw in a little darker on your other sheet is important, because for every one of these that you can fill into the center, you will get 1 point. And I'm going to go over the rules as to how to place these as we go on. And I'll probably refresh how these essentially work as the game goes on as well. But I just find it works out really well if you understand the basics of how you're going to get points before I get too much into how you even place things. So you will get points for every little railroad or road or section or face that you have put into this section. You will get 1 point for. And lastly, because we're not going to use the star is a different set of dice that we're not using this time. So the lastly is this little circle with an X. That is actually going to be negative points. So at the end of the game, every dead end that you have that doesn't lead anywhere, that's going to get you 1 negative point. So you want to be careful with tying up all your ends at the end of the game. And I will point this out probably a few times. If you were to say you had a road, here and it had turned, and at the end of the game, maybe you have this one, you could place this like this. Since you ran it off the end of the road, you're not going to get any points for, connecting it to anything. But this is not a dead end. It is somebody else's problem. It goes off into the next neighboring city. So you don't have to worry about that. It doesn't count as negative points. So at the very end of the game, if you can tie up the loose ends by either connecting them or getting them off your map, then you don't have to worry about negative points. So that's the basics. Connecting stations, longest road, longest railroad, spaces that you filled into the center box, and then negative points for dead ends. And you count up your score and we see who wins. Now, how do we even get faces on there? Well, that is actually the really easy part. Every turn, I'm going to take these dice, I'm going to roll them. There are going to be 4 different faces that now you guys have to use. Everybody who plays with us is going to have to use these 2 roads, this 1 railroad, and this 1 road with a railroad going underneath it. And I'll probably explain some of the dice as we go along. But the basic rules is you build off of an existing section. And so for this like road right here, maybe you would, go right here. Oops. So you built 1 road there. And now that you've built right here, you could take this other road and you could build it here. And then the last one, now you could go 1 more road here and you could put that railroad underneath it. And with this next one, you could, put this railroad. This would be an example of connecting all of them and keeping them connected. But you don't actually have to do that. You could have placed 1 road there, the other road section here. You could have placed the railroad here, and you could have placed the last railroad. It would have looked like this because it would have been the bridge, like that. So you get to choose where you're going to place these 4 dice faces. After you've chosen, there's a little white box right up here. If you have the printout or if you own the actual copy, you'll have this little white box. If you have the printout, I'm not sure if it's there. And if you are making your own map, you definitely don't have this. But just make a note on the particular face that you drew, what round you drew it on. So that's it. So you would write round 1, I drew these 4 faces. And why do we do that? It's because we want everyone to know that at the end of the 7th round, the game is over. And the only way to check that is to actually just write down which one you wrote it on. It also helps you keep track of which ones you have used. Now, every single turn, you have to use all 4 dice faces. But once a turn, you can choose to use one of these special connections. And so when you use one of these special connections, you would use this and all 4. So you'd be using 5 connections that 1 turn. But you can use 1 of these every turn, and you can use 3 in the entire game. And they are the only way to have a 4-way section. Okay, so I'm going to go over a few of the faces quick. A lot of these are pretty self-explanatory. This is just going to be a straight road. This is going to be a turn. There's going to be a turning road as well. There's 3-way railroads and there's 3-way roads. Okay, but the really confusing one, or the couple confusing ones, are going to be on this dice right here. This is going to be a station. It helps you take a road and turn it into a railroad. And so now this could connect up to this. So it's the only way that you're going to be able to connect railroads and roads together is using these little black stations. It doesn't end a section. What it does is it allows you to connect to a different section. If if you use these, or if you've seen these in your little PDF, you'll see they also have the little station on, meaning they don't end the chain. They are fully connected. But coming back to this one is a bridge. And so we have to be careful with the bridge, because with the bridge, it just means that this road and railroad are not connected. And so if the game ends, this isn't actually connected. And maybe
Can you approach a bit to the icons so we can see better? Here, we can keep going.
okay. Well, anyway, so I'll probably just go over each one a little more individually as we go. I think Michelle's just going to reposition this so we can see the dice faces a little bit better as we actually play. And I'll put up my board here as I go along so you guys can kind of see what I did. But for the most part, we'll just be looking at these, and these are going to be what is going to directly affect you guys.
It's so weird because it's mirrored.
Yeah. But if you slide this whole thing around.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. That should work.
Okay. So we are going to start the game. This will be the very first roll. Okay. And I'm just going to organize these up so everybody can see them. This is the very first roll. And so you're just going to look through here, and you're going to place all four of these individual dice faces somewhere on your board. And I'll explain mine after everybody's sort of placed what they have, in case you need. Okay, and what else do we have? Okay. So I have placed all four of mine. I think everyone else is still deciding what they're going to do here. So I'm going to just show what my map looks like. So it is right. Hopefully I can do this without covering up the dice face. Good. Okay. So as you can see, I placed, and you don't have to have them all attached together. It's just the strategy that I'm working with this time around. A lot of times we kind of mix and match and run things differently, but
they can't float out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, they can't float on the middle of nowhere. So I had to place this one before I was able to place either of these two, if that makes sense. All right. So I placed, this one right here. And since I placed that one, it gave me the opportunity to be able to place this one here and this one here. And then I placed the last railroad here. And as you can see, I put a number 1 on each of those just to represent that I used this during round 1. Currently, I haven't used any of the special dice face, as you can see. I tend to save them to the last 3 rounds unless if something else really needs it. So that's just my own strategy. All right. So Michelle did something slightly different, and so go. So she put her first T section here, and her next T section she actually ran off the board. And by doing this, she just gave herself a straight road, and this won't be negative points for her at the end of the game because it's off the road. And she connected up here, and so these, just to point out, are not connected yet. So this station and this station do not connect yet, because this is a bridge that goes the other one. So they're not actually touching. Okay. And then I'll show Jane's too. So maybe I'll show all of ours the first 2 rounds or so you guys can see how different they will become. This is what Jane did. He put all 4 of his in completely different sections. And so I guess that's his bridge. This is a T section. And then this is the T section, and then this is the railroad. And you can really draw this however you want, as long as you know what things mean at the end of the game. Okay, so the next round, so this will be round 2. Straighten these up. I'm going to quickly point this one out again. So right here, I'll just point that there so it doesn't like blur it. With this one, it is a station. And so what'll happen is you have a road that turns into a railroad. And as some of you might find out, ooh, well, this one only turns, or maybe the way you're looking at it, it only turns left. Well, that's not actually true. With one, you can choose which way it is turning, but it has to be a turn. It has to be a 90-degree turn of some sort. It has to go road to railroad. But the railroad could essentially be on the other side if it fits better for you. It's the only dice that you can switch the orientation. Everything else you can spin around and it makes sense because you can keep turning 90 degrees and it's going to essentially be the same thing. But this one was confusing to me when we first started because I was like, there's only right turns or left turns, but that's not true. You choose which way it turns. Okay. Let me write in. Let's see what I want. And again, you're going to put a number 2 next to anything that you draw this round. Oops.
I used a special on mine, so.
Used a special already.
I did,
All
yeah.
right. 1, 2, 3. I need another. I need something. We'll do a turn 2. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm just going to show mine. You guys can keep looking at your thing. So I put my 2s. Let's see here. I put the turn here. I put another turn here. I put the like changeover, the one that's going to turn into a railroad over here. In the hopes that maybe later I can attach these. And I put the last 2 there. So mine, nothing particular. Michelle hers looks a lot prettier than mine. So it's a little easier to see. She did use a 4-way section. So she put a 2 here, or her second round turn right here, her next one right here, next one here, and then she puts one up here. But she used a special right here, a road. So hers goes road, railroad, railroad. By doing so, she just checks off that she can't use that particular symbol again this game. So once you use one of those symbols, you just can't use them again this game. And if we look here, she actually now has connected this station connection. But because of this station right here, it now connects to this one. So she has 1, 2, 3 currently connected. And we'll just see what Jane did. I think this will be the last time I'll show everybody's. But it is kind of helpful to sort of see different strategies. So it looks like Jane used a special right here. It looks like he used the exact same one right here. His turn over here. And yeah, he just kind of like split up the way he was going to place his other ones. Okay, so that's the last time I'm going to show everybody's maps. And now we'll just kind of roll. And once everyone's ready, we'll just roll again. I might point out some mine or point out some dice. But otherwise, we'll just keep this rolling now. Here are the next 4 dice face. And this is round 3. So put a 3 next to each of these. This one right here, it's just a straight. So it's going to go, it's a straight railroad, straight road. You can't change the direction to this one. It's just directly direct change from one to another. I just wanted to make sure that everyone understands how that works.
My board is set up so nicely this time.
Well, that is
I'm pretty psyched.
Good for you. I think we are all happy for Michelle right now.
I'm sure you are.
Okay, and I think 3. I still have to use one more. It's probably the hardest part. Like you're always looking down like, what haven't I used yet? I think I'm missing one. There it is. Here was the other turn. So turn, T section, T section, T section, and the switch over. Okay. All right. So hopefully everyone's understanding this now. Again, if you use one of those special sections, that is on top of using one of these 4 faces. All right. Okay, ready?
Mhm.
Okay, everyone on this side's ready. So I'm going to go ahead and roll these again. We'll see what the round 4 looks like. Round 4 looks like we're going to have a lot of roads to work with. Actually, let's see. I go like this. Yeah, I think we'll risk that and hopefully that'll work. 4. Can't do that one.
Let's see. I don't want to do those.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I used all 4 of mine. I think have them waiting on everybody else over here to see what they have come up with. Next round would be round 5. I'm only pointing that out because next round, if you haven't used any of the specials and you want to, if you're going to do all 3 of them, you'll have to start in round 5 because you're only allowed to use 1 special per turn and 3 in the entire game. I think Michelle's still thinking. I think Jane
I'm
is
just
done.
marking my numbers.
Okay. All right. So we are going to be on to round 5. Let's see here. And some rails. Works out for everybody. It's not too bad for me. 5. Just go like that. And another straight. 5, 5, 5. What am I missing? No, 5. I got, okay, I did get all 4. I haven't placed any of my specials yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do I dare use the last one at this point?
Same.
I think I do. I think I am. I think I'm gonna go for it.
Okay. What do I have here? Okay. So if you can't see the specials, basically just think of any conceivable way that you could get 4 different looking sections to come together. So either 2 roads coming in and 2 railroads going out, or 3 and 1, and or all 4 roads or all 4 railroads. That's basically what the mix is of these different ones. And the important thing is you can only use each particular one once. Okay, so that was number 5.
There.
Everybody ready for number 6?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Okay, we've got railroads this time to work with.
Okay.
Looks like. Okay. Oops. We'll just go like that.
Which ones do I connect?
Actually.
I think this might be my best game of Railroad Inc. ever.
I know.
Like, I'm super psyched about how my map is coming along. I don't think I've ever played a game this well. Usually at this point, I'm like, oh, how am I going to get anything together? Today, it's just like perfection.
Well, that is good for you.
This one's not connected yet.
Okay. All right. So this next roll will be the last round. Hopefully it works out for you and it's
I hope so too.
what you need. We'll see. So round number 7. We have a bunch of road to work with.
That is sad. That is so sad. I can't get that one. Okay. What could do? I could do this.
Actually, if I go like...
I have a question.
Yes.
What happens if I cannot place one of them?
They can come out the road. Like, as long as it comes off the edge.
Okay, here, let me just, okay. So I have this one spot right here
Yeah.
where I can connect some road, but there isn't another spot unless I just come straight off the edge here.
Yeah.
I can do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so. Seven.
It's just going to be one horrible dead end.
7, and then... Oh, I can connect these.
And I just needed it to roll one railroad. That was it.
Yeah, I could have used some railroad, but...
I would have gotten everything connected.
Okay, so that was the last one. I will go through quick and show you the scoring for mine while everyone else scores up theirs. I'm going to just move this on. Actually, I'll just put... Wait, hopefully you guys can see this. I think I'll go a little bit lower. Yeah, that'll be easier for me to show. Okay, so we're going to go by connections. I'm going to just start here. So I can connect this one to here and to here. And because of this, now I can also connect to here and here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 are connected. Can I get to this one? Yes. 5. I can get to this one. 6. I can get to this one. 7. I can get to that one for 8 and that one for 9. So I connected 9 of them. So that'll be 32 points for my connections. 32. And so there I go. I just put a 32 right up there. What else do I have? So that's all my connections. I have no more connections. So I don't have an extra groupings. Now for my road, what I do is I want to find the longest way I can count my road. And so obviously I'm not going to want to take this one because this is only going to be what, 5 or 5 right here. This one looks promising. If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. think it's going to be my longest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's still 11. So 11 for my longest road. You should know that these little like stations don't break up the road as long as another road comes out the other side of it. And you also count the ones that are partially a road / partially not a road. In this case, I didn't choose to. No, I did. I counted this one right here. So it was partially railroad, partially road. So that technically counts as a road. For my railroad, it kind of looks like my longest one is going to be right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, just 5. So that's not terribly great for that. My inner section right here, I'm only missing 2. And so I must have 7, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 points because I filled in 7 of the squares, 7 of the 9 squares in the middle. 7. Now, the next section is for dead ends. And I actually have quite a few of those. I have 1 right here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's probably the most dead ends I've ever had. So 9, that's negative 9 points. That is not good. So then all you're going to do is you're going to total together all of your points, subtract your negative points, and then we'll see who wins. So go ahead, leave in the comments your total score, and we'll see how everybody did. So 2, so
3. I thought I would win for certain too.
Wait, sorry. But yeah, I just realized this isn't.
Wait, did you add that in? Okay, redo your math.
yeah. All right. So I got 46 points because I guess I'm slow at figuring out my math. But that is how I did. I don't think I won this time. Normally I have a, yes, 46.
Okay.
Ooh. Yeah, Jane beat me.
55, you said? Yeah, you still won.
Jane got 55 points. It sounds like Michelle got what?
50. But look how beautiful my board turned out.
Nice.
It's like a little donut of transit.
Wait, did Jane originally count it up as 69
Yes.
points? Okay.
I accidentally added my
Your negative points?
instead of subtracting it. So
All right.
I got, like,
So next week? Okay, so next week we're going to play Orchard. This is a really fun game, and I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun playing it. It is a print in play. Trying to think of how you can recreate this without a printer. Otherwise,
But you made cards.
yeah. So
Do you have
actually,
those?
can you hand me my cards? So I made cards. So if you look up online the print and play and copy what I did. So what you're going to want to do is all the cards.
These are the regular cards.
Yeah, all the cards have essentially 3 different colors and a different pattern and a number related to it. So this is number 1, and then they have that. So what I did is I took my number 1, and this is what I made. So I just grabbed, this is a deck of old cards from a game we don't play, and we kind of scrapped it for bits and pieces that we use for other things. Anyway, so what I did is I just painted it white, and then I painted the other ones the color I wanted them to be. I was trying to find the number 1 again. What did I do with that one?
So how it works is you have the
there we go.
cards, and then you're going to be using these dice that. There we go. You're using these dice that represent how many fruits you got from your orchard. So if you don't have a lot of dice laying around the house to be able to use for the game next week, you could instead make little tokens that would show. So if you just made like a little token that represented each of the dice need to have a 1, a 3, a 6, and then a bushel of apples. So that'd be 4 tokens to replace 1 dice. And there are 5 of each of the 3 colors. And then you'll also want to have
Something to represent.
2 little black tokens. So yeah, I mean, it should be pretty easy to put together if you are not able to use a printer.
But the basics is if you can take just a card or old cards that you might have and just color in the same color scheme that's here, this would be recreating your entirely own deck. If you can print it or send it to like a local printer of somebody who does just like local delivery and print off, it's going to be 2 pages, 2 color pages, because it's 18 cards. The other option, we bought this game at our local game store. We prefer the Dice Owl. We're here in Montreal, and anyway, they are open. It's just 2 guys running a shop, and they're just very responsible with the social distancing and everything else going on right now. And so, but they'll mail you whatever you need. And I want to say it was like $14 or something. So it's not too expensive. The point is, though, we thought this would be fun. And so you can either recreate your own, print off your own, order your own copy, whatever it may be. But you can play along with us. And after playing along with us, then you'll know how the game works. This is actually a single player game that you can play with multiple people if each person has their own set. But it's a game we've been playing a lot solo, as one of us just needs to kind of take some time solo somewhere in the house during this time. So this is a great little solo single player game. It's fairly inexpensive if you want to get yourself a real copy, but it's pretty easy to make if you want to like take the time to recreate your own copy, which we did. But other than that, we hope to see you guys next week to attempt to play Orchard with us. So we'll see how that works out for everybody. But yeah, other than that, if anybody ever has any game suggestions as to games that we could play, if we have them around, we'd love to like play them. We've also thought about playing just a few playthroughs so you guys can see how certain games are just played and how we enjoy like playing them. You wouldn't necessarily be able to play them with us. But so far we've been trying to think of games that we can play with you guys while in this situation. So other than that, we hope to see everybody next week, and let us know what your scores are, and we'll see who won the game of railroading today. Bye.